What's going on? I wanted to make a video about kind of going over some things I talked about on my Instagram today. I talked about the power of the mind and how everything is the mind. Everything starts from conception, meaning the mental conception, not just the conception of birth. And I wanted to talk about some of the things that are going on in today's society and some of the things that are going to happen in the future. Now, if you look at his history being one of the greatest teachers, you'll understand what's really going on right now. And there's a civil war going on, and most people don't even understand what's going on. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a little update. Let's get over some of the bullshit, and then I'll get back to what I was talking about the mind. There's a war going on about your mental capacity, your mind. Everybody is trying to take over your mind and control you. Now, when I say this, it sounds crazy. It sounds stupid. I'm sorry, the streets in Philadelphia are ridiculous. But you have to really think about it. Why do all these corporations want so much intel on you? Why do corporations want to know what you think so much? It's because they need you to survive. You don't need them to survive. They need you. The same thing with the government. They need you to survive. You don't need the government to survive. You could go in the damn forest and pick your own shit. You know what I'm saying? You don't need them to survive. Everybody's after your mind. Okay? So the one thing I want to address is some of this bullshit that goes on with all these FEMA camps and all this bullshit that's taught on the internet. Okay? I want y'all to know that that's bullshit. Now, first of all, they ain't gonna round up a bunch of motherfuckers and kill them in no high volume. You have to understand that if you add the military and the police force together, you will only have 3 million people. 3 million. There's over 325 million people in the United States. The military would not stand a chance. Neither would the police force. That's why they have to keep you in a fear-based state, because at any moment you arise, that is the end of the government. Okay? All this bullshit about the government looking at all your devices and that is bullshit. It's all bullshit. Them talking about them knowing, government's looking at your device. They can hear you on your telephone. Dude, it ain't even enough for them to do it. So the only information the government has is the information that you give them. Now, this all-seeing eye bullshit. It's the same thing they give you with religion. There's a God above you, and the God can see everything that you do. It's all a fear-based strategy. It's the same thing they did with Santa Claus as you were a kid. You know what I'm saying? It's the same bullshit. Everybody is trying to control your mind, because the moment you start controlling your mind, you become the most powerful individual in your life, and everything you manifest will start to become a reality. That's why everyone wants you to they want you to have doubt. They want you to have fear, because it's easy to control a doubtful and fearful person. Okay? Now, let's get back to what I was talking about on my Instagram. I talked about everything is the mind and the mind is everything. So what I was talking about is how conception starts as a mental thing before even a man and a woman meets. The man had a vision of him having a child. The woman had a vision of her having a child. They don't know who they're going to have a child with. They don't even know what the child's going to look like. But the vision was in their head. So most of y'all need to thank your mothers and your fathers for having a thought of you. This is why parents, when you're out in the world, your mom gets worried about you, because you're in her thoughts. She created you. Your father, you're in their thoughts. They created you. So in their mind, that's why they say honor your mother and father, or your days to be long. The thought process is really how you were conceived. You were conceived in the mind. The same thing. This might sound crazy, but this is why when your parents pass, you think of them. Now you're in their mind. They're a thought in your mind. Okay, everybody is trying to control your mind. A person thought about building a city grid plan, then all of a sudden they got people to do it. It started off as a thought. This is why you cannot let people control how you think. You have to think for yourself. And when you start thinking for yourself, or learn how to reteach yourself how to start thinking for yourself, you're going to look at things more objectively than you're going to buy into a lot of this bullshit. Now, when I talk about the government, I don't want people to think that I am anti-government. I don't want them to think anything. But the government is, if you break down what the word government means, it means to control the mind. That's why they give you governmental services. Govern the mind. Every handout you take from the government is to control you. So, with that being said, you have to understand, if they're trying to control you, who is the most powerful person? You. If a corporation is marketing to you, are they more powerful than you, or are you more powerful than them? It's all about the mind. It's about the conceptual. It's a conceptual basis. You have to think that you are. And the more that you think positive thoughts, think that, you can do something, you can accomplish things, you're going to start doing it. All you have to do is put your thoughts in action, and they will become a reality. That's how simple this life shit is, man. We make it so difficult. And it's not. It's all about using our thoughts, creating our own reality, and then making it a reality. I don't know if this is going to motivate somebody. I don't even know if anybody's watching this. But this is the truth. That's why everybody is in a bidding war for your mind. That's why they're always selling information on you. Why? Because you are the power. I've already done videos about this. They haven't been well received, but the hardest thing to convince a slave is that they are a slave. That is the hardest thing to convince a slave. What's going on in the United States is damn near like a civil war. People want their independence. The same thing that happened for the Revolutionary War. People are tired of being taxed at a high rate. So now they're called sovereign citizens and Moorish nationals and all this bullshit. But it is a way to deem them as the enemy of the state. So when you sit back and see some of these news articles, look at them objectively. Meaning when people are killed in a gun battle or killed by senseless gun violence, look at it objectively. And what would help them by disabling the population and taking their guns away? They'd be easier to control without guns. Think about it. 200 million people with guns and only a 3 million military because the police are becoming militarized. Come on, man. The war wouldn't even last a day. So they have to keep certain people who are slaves. And I also talked about in my Nipsey Hussle video how I think that there are certain people who are working for the government and these platforms like Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. I think they are. There was a shooting in Miami, and I comment on it. There was two girls slain and 2 people shot. I commented about it, and the girl's like, well, why do you need to know the details? I said, well, because first of all, I need to see if the shit is fake. Just because somebody tells you something happened doesn't mean it happened. You have to objectively look at things. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe a lot of shit is used as propaganda. And you have to think about the news in and of itself. It is used as propaganda. Who controls the news? Not the people. Corporations control the news. Mainly entertainment corporations. So when you start using your mind and thinking objectively, you'll be able to control your destiny. You'll be able to take over and do whatever you want. Whatever you want to create, it'll be created in your mind. And then all you need is the action behind it. Then you'll start to see things come into fruition. And you'll be shocked. As a kid, I had a vision that I would have a job or a business and a business that allowed me to travel the world or to travel all over. That all started in the mind, and it became a reality. Y'all have a good day. Live from Philly. Deuces.